Hey everyone, so this is the Kumquat marmalade jam thing that we're gonna make for our bread, our sourdough bread. If you haven't made sourdough bread, go check out my other video. Super exciting stuff. But what I've already started doing here is I have these kumquats, and what kumquats are, they're these just very kind of sweet, tart, bitter combo fruit. They're very citrusy, kind of flavored fruit. And when you cut them open, they look like this there. And they have like these seeds that are inside them. So what you want to do is, at first I have about a cup of kumquats here that I'm taking and cutting in half. And then you'll see that there's these seeds. I got some pretty big sized seeds. And what you want to do is you just want to kind of take and pop out those seeds and go through all of your kumquats. Once you go through your kumquats, you just want to dump it into a pan, a small pan like this. This is somewhat tedious, so through the magic of videos, whatever, let me speed this up for you guys. I think they have a very nice kind of citrusy flavor that is just really nice for this. So once you have them all kind of cut up and cut down, we're gonna take and slice these into a little bit more, to about, I don't know, 1/8 inch slices, 1/4 inch slices, quarter to 1/8 inch slices, somewhere in there. And then put them all inside the pot for our next stage. Okay, so here's a great reason why we're cutting them down to thin slices. I missed a little seed right inside here at the very tip of the kumquat. Oh, and by the way, yes, we are leaving on the rind. That's just gonna add a nice little flavor and like kind of bitterness to it, slash sweetness. Once it cooks down, it should kind of remove most of that bitter flavor. Okay, now that we have our kumquats all cut up, so good. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take, I have 2 small clementines. You can use any kind of orangey type citrus that you have. I'm just gonna juice these up and add them to the mixture here in a little bit. And it's just to add a little bit more of that citrus kind of flavor into the overall jam. Okay, so update, I only got about just over a quarter cup, about a quarter cup from those 2 clementines. They're not as juicy as I thought, so I'm gonna pull 2 more. Really looking to get about 1/2 cup of juice out of these, just about 1/3 to 1/2 cup. So I'm gonna slice off 2 more and just juice these up real quick. All right, so I have about 1/2 cup of clementine juice or so there, which is perfect. What we're gonna do is with these kumquats, I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of water that I have right here, some filtered water, to get it started. And then I'm gonna add about 1/4 cup to 1/3 cup of cane sugar. That I'm using cane sugar in the raw, whichever, just because it I like the kind of like the gritty, kind of just more depth of flavor that cane sugar adds versus just your normal white sugar that you have in the fridge. So I'm using the sugar in the raw, just kind of like that raw sugar, because it gives it a little bit more of a depth of flavor that you don't get from just white sugar, and I like kind of that rich nutty flavor that sugar has. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna take it over the stove, and we're gonna cook it off for a little bit until it starts to really kind of reduce, and the orange peels really kind of start to, or the kumquat peels, sorry, really start to break down a little bit. So we're gonna set it over about medium to medium high heat. Then we're gonna sit here and just let it cook off and get going here. Once it starts to get a nice good kind of boil going, then we're gonna let it kind of reduce, turn the heat down a little bit and turn it to a simmer. Then we'll add in the clementine juice, reduce it down a little bit more, and then we should be good to go. A nice little additional piece that I like to add to some of my marmalades or jams and things like that is my good friend star anise. So I'm gonna add about just 1 large or 2 kind of smaller chunks in there. So sometimes it can be very overpowering. Some people don't necessarily like the flavor, and a lot of times it's because they put too much. So I like to put it in for just a little bit, about 5-10 minutes and then pull them out, so they're not in there for a long time. They're just in there for a little bit to really add some flavor, and then that's it. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my star anise out of here. Star anise. As you can see, these are starting to turn translucent, so the color's completely changed. The rind here is starting to change the same color as the inside. Once they start to match in color, that's when you know you're getting close. So they're not quite ready yet, and I've noticed that it's starting to get a little bit dry in the pan. It's evaporating pretty quickly. So I add another 1/4 cup of water. Okay, so as you can see, it's about all the same color now, all the kumquats, and it's reduced by probably about 1/3 from what it originally started with. What we're looking for is you can pull, fish one out, 1 or 2 of them out, and what we're looking to do is go ahead and taste it. Should be very easy to bite through, a very soft rind. Perfect. So now's a good time to add the clementine juice or orange juice or whatever, apple juice, whatever juice you're using. Now, after tasting it, I really want to preserve the flavor that it's at. Now I really like it. If it's still a little too watery, you can reduce it down a little bit. But once it hits that flavor that you're looking for, I'm going to take and add a little bit of cornstarch. So I have about 1 teaspoon of cornstarch and about 1.5 tablespoons of water. I'm just going to mix those together really thoroughly and then whisk it into the marmalade very slowly in a slow, steady stream. And the reason why you want to go slow is you don't want any lumps. For this portion, we're going to shut off the heat and then just very slowly drizzle in some cornstarch, a little bit at a time, just until it starts to thicken. And you really want to stir it pretty heavily and vigorously here. All right, I'm gonna bring this back up to a boil just real quickly. Then I'm also gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. All right guys, and that does it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and transfer this to a little glass jar here that I have, perfect for jams, and let it cool in the fridge for later. And then it'll be ready for our bread later on. And the last step, most important step. Watch it cool. No, I'm serious. You want to sit here and watch it cool. It's thrilling. I'm using the... Actually...